PTM, Prop the Mic. We got a special guest today. Got Mike from Proptology.
Going on?
How's it going?
What's going on, guys? Glad to be back.
What's up? I'm just excited that you decided to come back. That was really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll
For
be
sure.
on here anytime you guys want. Love the podcast.
Hell
Good.
yeah.
And I see you're promoting props.cash today, our partner as well.
If I'm anything, I'm a brand guy, right?
There we
Yeah,
go.
exactly. Well, we're very happy to have you on. So, all right. So what did you guys think of the basketball over the weekend before we dive into our picks for today? Any highlights in your mind?
A little disappointing. Yeah? I mean, it was fun if you're a Jason Tatum fan, but not a little bit of a anticlimactic Game 7, I would say.
Yeah.
These blowouts are kind of getting sickening a little bit here in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's amazing how you can have like just game to game, 20 points this way, 20 points that way. But yeah, there are some individual performances that have been pretty great. Harden had that one amazing performance. Tatum had this other one. So Embiid had some big games. So regardless, it was a good weekend of basketball. And now we're into the conference finals. So
Yes, sir.
So we thought we'd get ahead of it. There's no game tonight, but the Lakers and the Nuggets play tomorrow. So we thought we'd get ahead of it. There's a real opportunity to, get better value on the lines if you get your picks in today versus waiting till tomorrow morning, or even as you get closer to game time, it gets worse and worse. More money starts coming in. So we'll get those out today to you, and then we'll probably cover tomorrow the Eastern Conference game. So you guys ready to go?
Let's do it.
Let's rock.
All right. So like I said, Lakers at the Nuggets. The Nuggets are at home. Nuggets are -5.5 right now. Total is 222.5. So first of all, these are the two teams that matched up on the Western Conference Final in the bubble back in 2020, and actually in the Eastern Conference Final was the same thing, right? Two teams. So this is a Final Four of the bubble repeat. I think
which is kind of cool. I don't know, just say which is kind of cool because they didn't get to play at home in those things. So all these fan bases get to now have these same matchups again on their home turf, which is very cool. I think.
And all those guys who said the bubble didn't matter, now we get to really figure it out, huh?
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. So going to the Western Conference game, these two teams played 4 times in the season, and they split 2-2. The home team won every game. So that's, of note for this series too. The spread in every game was +10 in terms of the output. So Denver won the first game by 11. The Lakers won the second game by 11. Lakers won the third game by 18. And Denver won the fourth game by 13. So it's also worth noting that the last time they played was January 9th.
Yeah.
So all of these games were early in the season, and obviously the Lakers were struggling, and they basically overhauled their entire roster sometime in February, right? So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think it's hard to read too much into this, especially not only was it January 9th the last time, but the two previous times were in the first 2 weeks of the season when the Lakers were 0-10, right? I think they actually got their first win of the season against Denver when they were 0-8 or something like that, whatever they were. So I'm taking these with a grain of salt. So kind of was digging into some more matchups, just NBA wide as opposed to the specific Lakers Nuggets matchup.
Yeah. With that said, I would say the most consistent performer in all of those games was probably Jokic. He had, almost a triple double, and he had a lot of points and rebounds in all the games. So, so we'll keep an eye on that when we dive into it. All right, so let's start on the Nuggets side. I think since this is game 1, we don't have a lot of history in the playoffs, and like we said, we don't have a lot to go for the regular season matchup. So, what do you like in terms of matchups? What are you seeing, Tom?
So you have a few nice matchups here going up against the Lakers on the Denver side. shot creating guards, who would be Jamal Murray for the Nugs. Really nice matchup. If you think back to earlier in the season, we were calling out point guards and guards against Lakers had been a consistently good matchup. So I like that matchup for Murray here. You also have a nice matchup for your off-ball wings, movement shooters. These are the categories I use. That would be Michael Porter Jr. I think he's set up to have a nice series here. It's a good matchup for him. And then off-ball guards also have done pretty well. That'd be KCP. I'd look into him as well. So that's matchup-wise. One name you didn't hear me say, Nikola Jokic. So I'm taking a little bit of a wait and see approach on Jokic here. You have AD, who's been one of the best defenders. Jokic is, although the defensive metrics with him on the court with Denver would suggest he's very good defensively. When you watch him, he's not one of your better defenders. He's nowhere near on the level that Anthony Davis is. So I wanted to point that out as well, that he wasn't one of the guys that I pointed out in a good matchup.
All right, that's good. You'll be one of the few fading him potentially. So
wait till you hear my pick.
All right. All right, let's go to Mike. What do you like in terms of picks on this on the Denver side?
Yeah, so I was looking. I mean, I saw. First off, I've been trying to look. I don't know if you've seen the John Ewing on Twitter. He'll post from MGM, like the line movement on props and plays. Nothing on the props obviously yet, but I've been trying to correlate some things with, the line movement. For instance, Nuggets have moved from 4.5 to 5.5 so far. Lakers money line went from 165 up to plus 180. The under moved a point down from 223 to 222. Just trying to see how some of those things play. And along with everything Tom said, I might have this wrong, but when I was looking at those matchups this year, I think Anthony Davis only played like a full game in 2 of them in early October. Yeah. So almost wanted to stay away from the whole, Nikola and Anthony Davis plays all together. For one, I think I almost got death threats when I played an under PRA on Anthony Davis last game.
Hey, but it cashed.
It cashed, but I don't think that's why I don't play unders. I was sick the whole game. But so I wanted to look at some other, some things in the playoffs, like we talked about. Lines are sharp and they get sharper. Obviously, I had to come in with a turnover play, a little juiced at minus 155, but D'Angelo Russell over 1.5 turnovers. Kind of some crazy numbers here. So he has hit before last game. Against Denver, he only played like 19, 20 minutes, right? So before that, he's had over 2 or more turnovers in 15 games in a row. So 15 in a row versus Denver. 3 of his last 4 games, game ones, total in his career, 3 out of 4 game ones, he's had over 2 turnovers. This past series versus the Warriors was the first time he hasn't had 2 turnovers in game 1. And then on 2 days rest this year, he's 8 out of 10. So love that turnover play. Honestly, you think that I kind of, I'm not a spread guy, but the Lakers, while they proved me wrong, they played way better than I thought they would. They're playing better than I thought they would. I also feel like they got to be tired from playing Steph Curry and the Warriors. And now now they're going up in elevation, which everybody has different opinions on how that affects people. But you almost think they have to be a little tired after that series. Coming in, I like, Russell to make a few mistakes there with turnovers. So my second play is with on the Nuggets side, and that's Aaron Gordon, points and assists over 15.5. So he's hitting 8 out of 8 home games with 35 plus minutes this year. He's averaging 35 minutes in the playoffs, is why I set that mark for minutes. He's 5 out of 6 on 3 days rests, and he's played the Lakers 3 times. So 22 minutes, 29 minutes, 23 minutes. So obviously a little under where we would see his average in the playoffs. He only hit 15, 11, and 9. You up those minutes. I like the increase there. And, going back to 2019 versus LeBron, in games versus LeBron, he's had 18, 18, 11, 15, and 15. Those 3 unders were with less than 30 minutes. and then he had 24 and 18. So anytime he's played a LeBron team, he's hit this mark when he's played over 30 minutes. And then he also is 5 out of 6 on over. He has a minus 135 on the over 1 3-pointer. So he's hit that in 5 out of 6 versus the Lakers. So might even
Okay.
sprinkle some on the 3-pointer, but if he hits a three, obviously that helps his 15.5 mark for points and assists. And then my third and final play for this one, I'm sure you've heard the narrative LeBron game ones. Everyone's, if they haven't been talking about it, they're going to, some people have talked about LeBron's points in games one. They're a lot lower.
Yeah.
So I'm transitioning to the opposite of that and playing over 14.5 rebounds and assists for LeBron. So he's hitting 13 straight game ones. He's hitting
Wow.
5 out of 7 away on 2 days rest this year. He's 7 out of the last 8 versus Denver with 35 plus minutes. That's dating back to his Miami days. 35 plus minutes away this year. He's hit 68%, averaging 15.3, and he's actually 7%. He's hitting 7 out of the last 10 away games. Also, he's averaging 15.4 in the playoffs away. He's averaging 38 minutes in that time frame and hitting out of 4 out of the 6 away games he's played so far in the playoffs. His 2 misses were versus the Warriors. So my 3 plays there are the Russell over 1.5 turnovers, Aaron Gordon 15.5 points and assists, and LeBron over 14.5 rebounds and assists.
Yeah, it's nice. I definitely love the LeBron one just because, like you said, if he's not scoring, he finds ways to contribute. We constantly talk on this show about like LeBron is very calculated. He knows what he needs to do to get the team to win the game, and a lot of times it's him, playing second or third fiddle on the scoring and contributing on rebounding. I was also noticed during the bubble matchup, which obviously was years ago. LeBron was younger, but the team, had AD. LeBron actually led that series in rebounding on the Lakers side. I think he had close to 10 rebounds a game. AD, I think, was closer to like 6 or 7. So I certainly could see that. The Nuggets are obviously a different, slightly different team. They had Jeremy Grant then, and now they have Aaron Gordon. So this is Aaron Gordon's first, matchup against the Lakers in the playoffs, I believe. So, Tom, what do you think about those picks? Any comments on any of them?
I always love a negative pick on D'Angelo Russell, so I'm on board with that one. To tag along with your LeBron rebounds and assists, I've been playing this all playoff long. It's a rebound and assist parlay, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. That's been as low as minus 120, minus 125. It's actually on FanDuel right now. You can get it plus money, plus 102. So it's huge value right there. 8 rebounds, 5 assists. The 8 rebounds he's done in 11 of 12 games this postseason with 30 minutes, and the assist 9 of 12. This cashed in game 6 the other night. It's cashed multiple other times. I'm going to stick with what works, and so I like that as well. Different way to look at the rebound and assist line. So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I got a couple others on the Lakers here. You want me to?
Yeah, keep going with the Lakers, and we'll bounce back to the Nuggets.
Yeah. So one of the matchups that was sticking out to me here in terms of a possible fade is your ball handling wings against Denver have not been performing well. So Austin Reeves has kind of changed his game midseason. I had him at the beginning of the season. He was classified as like an off-ball wing, but really the way he's been playing, he's shifted over to this ball handling wing category for me. I like his under 22.5 par. It's minus 115. Ball handling wings averaging 16.5 par against Denver. Going back to the trade deadline, that's 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2.5 assists. And if you want to go to his old category, off-ball wings, shooting off-ball wings are averaging under 13 PRA against the Nuggets since the trade deadline. So nice. I like the under on Austin Reeves.
Yeah, let me jump in because I actually had an over on Austin Reeves. I liked over his rebounds, 3.5. Okay. So it's a small percent of that 22.5 PRA.
Yeah.
I'll just read out. He's 8 for 8 in the playoffs when he plays 35 plus minutes, getting 4 rebounds. And versus Denver this year, he's 2 for 3. He had 2, 4, and 4. But in those games, again, earlier in the season, he only played 26 minutes, 27 minutes, and 29 minutes. So similar to what you were saying, Mike, with respect to Gordon, I think those minutes are going to be up significantly for Reeves. And I think 4 rebounds could easily cash. We could see 5 or 6 even with him. But Tom, I'm feeling the under on the par just because I think his contributions probably stop on assists and rebounds, and probably struggles to score a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's really such a big point, probably, to point out to new bettors, new prop bettors, people new to prop stock cash. I think you guys were one of the first ones to really point it out, actually, to start the playoffs. Is the minute filter on prop stock cash is so important now, because you can see during the year, you never know when a blowout's going to happen. You never know the up and down of the week and how they're going to play people. But in the playoffs, you got a pretty good feel for this guy's getting 35 minutes. I say that with, at the same time, there's been some blowouts, but you kind of have to assume that shouldn't happen anymore in the, semifinals.
Yeah, those rotations. Sorry, those rotations get much shorter. With 7-man rotations for a lot of teams, 8-man rotations. So those minutes increase, and it's not like that. The NBA postseason is it's like a very different game to the way it's played in the regular season, and you have to account for that when you do your handicapping.
Yeah, definitely. And you want to find the players that are consistently playing, right? The other part, like that we saw in the last round, the coaches were, like I said at the time, the coaches were coaching. They were basically changing up lineups, but there were still constants within the lineup. There were 3-4 guys out of the starting 5 that weren't going to move, and they still played, 30, 35 minutes. So I think those are the guys you want to hone in on for most of these picks, but certainly we like our role players too, right, Tom?
That's right. Role players at home in the playoffs.
Listen, I had to take a whole day off after betting a Josh Hart prop, so I'm with you on that.
Yeah. That was Tibbs is particularly difficult. He has no shame in benching a guy who's getting paid $100 million bucks. So, all right, Tom, what's your next pick?
I got 2 others. They're both on AD. So shot creating bit. So matchup wise, not a lot. Denver's very good defensively, but the one spot you can really target them at is their shot creating forwards and bigs. So that's LeBron and AD. So I'm not breaking huge news here that it's good. LeBron and AD could have big games, but shot creating bigs against Denver, averaging 4.5 assists per game since the trade deadline. So I like AD over 2.5 assists, -130. He's done it in 5 of 6 road playoff games this postseason. And when he's on 2 days rest this season, 12 of 16 when he plays 30 plus minutes. So I like that.
Okay.
You in agreement there? And this is something we've talked about before. Yeah.
I mean, assist is always my favorite AD prop because it's such a low line. I think regardless of how the game plays out, I think he's got a good shot of getting in that regardless. Yeah. Mike, I know you said you were going to probably wait till game 2 for any AD plays, but any initial reaction to 2.5 assists?
No, I like it. I mean, I'm seeing 12 out of 18 without filtering the minutes this year on 2 days rest. I mean, and I like the angle of the assist more than anything. I also, I do want to mention again that Anthony Davis is soft, but so I love an assist play for him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the risk always with AD. You don't know if he's going to play the full game. But in the playoffs, he's got a better shot of being out there. What's your second play there?
The other one was the points on AD. I feel like his points at 22.5 and LeBron at 25.5. I almost feel like those should be flip-flopped. I feel like that, like the 22.5 should be LeBron's line here and the 25.5 should be AD's line. So I like AD over 22.5 points. Shot creating bigs, averaging 25.5 points against Denver since the trade deadline. On 2 days rest this season and 30 plus minutes. He's done it in his last 10 of 14 games. That line just seems a hair too low for me. And I see him. I like the extra rest that he's got, and it's every other AD, right? So he's got a couple of days off now with no scoring or anything. So I think he's ready to come out with a decent scoring game in game one.
Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see how AD comes out. I mean, he certainly has the size and the skills. But like you said, Jokic isn't the best defender, right?
No.
That's not what his game is known for. So he should
Mhm.
be able to take advantage in this series.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I got one other play on the Lakers side before we move back to the Nuggets. Mike, I know you're going to like this because we actually collabed on this one before. LeBron, 2.5 turnovers, minus 140. 30 plus minutes in away games. In the playoffs, he's 4 for 5. 26 for 33 on the season, so that's a 79% hit rate when away. And the one game that he played in Denver with of the 4 games that they played, he cleared in 2 of the 3 because he didn't play in the 4th. And the one that was in Denver that he played in, he had 8 turnovers.
Wow.
So I like your kind of your whole narrative with Russell and coming out, a little bit razzled in game one. Obviously, LeBron's got more playoff experience than Russell, but what do you think? Just 3 little turnovers.
3, yeah, I'm looking now. He's so game one, just to go through the last few game ones that he's had. Let me make sure this is starting this year. 4, 5, 5, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 7. So again, it's almost like LeBron's been doing this so long that the game one is almost, I'm going to feel this out,
Yeah.
and a couple mistakes here, no big deal. I'm going to feel this team out and then attack after game one. And I'm not a LeBron hater, but I also hate giving LeBron credit. And, that's me giving him credit. I think he feels it out game one and then attacks. So I like that play. I mean, especially when you see how many he's had in game ones there too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's, I think he could easily put up 4 or 5. So I think, just looking for 3 turnovers is pretty reasonable. So,
Yeah.
All right. So we got 2 turnover plays on the Lakers side. Let's go back to the Nuggets. Tom, I'm going to start by asking you about a specific player because you're a narrative guy, Tom.
Yeah.
And there is one player that played in this bubble matchup.
That's true.
But played for the other team.
Yeah.
So what about KCP, former Laker?
Yeah, so I mentioned it earlier. It looks like a decent matchup for him. I actually didn't end up. I was looking. I think maybe his threes could be good here. If I had it correct, I think that they were averaging at that position, averaging like I think about almost 5 3-point attempts per game, which is around what he probably takes. So I don't have one to put out here right now, but I think given the narrative and the pretty good matchup, I think he's a good play here.
Yeah, I liked his RA. 4.5 RA was actually plus 100. The statistics aren't great on it. I mean, he in the playoffs he was 6 for 11 when he played 25 plus minutes, 61% on the full season, so pretty similar hit rate. Against the Lakers this year, he did cross in 3 of the 4 matchups with 5, 10, 1, and 6. But I just liked what I saw in the last 2 games of that Sun series. I mean, he literally took over that first quarter, and he seemed like he had a good amount of energy, good presence on the floor. So I think he's going to come out and contribute big in the beginning of this series. So, Mike, you liking KCP?
Yeah, I didn't look into him yet, but I mean, everything you said sounds good. I like that play. I didn't even think about the fact that he was, playing for the other team back then. I like that angle.
The only reason
Yeah.
Dave and I rode him all through that bubble playoffs. We're cashing lots of tickets on KCP, so it's still fresh in our minds.
We used to play a KCP parlay, 10 points and 2 threes, like almost every game. And he was just money on that. So
yeah.
All right. Who else on the Nugget side do you have there, Tom?
All right. So speaking of someone else who likes to, I think, feel things out in game one, and this was what I was bringing up before, Nikola Jokic. So Dave held me back from getting on this this pick in the previous in the semifinals. but I'm not going to let him do it to me this time. Nikola Jokic, under 9.5 assists. I'm going to read you off the last 8 game ones and Nikola Jokic's assist totals. You ready? 5, 6, 6, 1, 3, 3, 3, 2. That's an average of 3.5 assists per game in his last 8 game ones. And it doesn't get much better in game 2 either. His average is 6 assists in game 2s. So I think this line is too high. It was actually, I think it was as low as 7.5 at the beginning of last series. I could see it dipping back down here. You can't argue with the data. It pains. I love Jokic. It pains me to fade him here, but I just think historically, it's hard to argue with this. What do you guys say?
I'm looking now as you're saying that. So versus Anthony Davis, he's only hit 10, and it was exactly 10, 1 out of 20 games. He's played.
There we go, Mike.
He's played Anthony Davis 20 times, and he hit 10 just one time, and that was
wow.
It was at home. It was on 35 minutes back in 2021. But you're talking his entire career back to 2015, 20 games versus Anthony Davis. Only one time has he hit that mark. That's a great play right there.
It's one of those.
All right. You know what? The beauty of having 3 of us on the show is now there's a decider.
There you go.
So I won't hold you back, Tom. I'm letting you go full force on that one.
Thank you.
Two unit play. Go for it.
All right. There we go. All right. Yeah, so I like that one quite a bit.
Nice.
You want me to go over my other Nuggets ones here?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Jamal Murray. So I mentioned at the start there that shot creating guards have been playing really, put up big games against the Lakers. So Murray, 24.5 points, minus 120. This game's on 3 days rest, right? Last series, they played Phoenix twice on 3 days rest. And you know what he had in each of those games? 34 and 32 in both games against Phoenix on 3 days rest in the previous series. One was at home, one was away. Shot creating guards averaging 26.1 points per game against the Lakers since the trade deadline. And just for comparison's sake, what does that mean? Shot creating guards average 19 points per game against Denver since the trade deadline. So you got a big over 7 point per game difference there. So just wanted to point that out. So I'm high on Murray here for tomorrow.
Yeah, he had in that last game that they played on January 9th, I think he led the team with scoring with 34 points too against the Lakers. And the other games he did pretty well. He scored I don't think he cleared in any of the other ones, but I think again, it's about minutes. He wasn't playing the minutes that he's going to play in this series.
For sure.
And this is critical for them. They can't come out and lose game 1 and then hope for a split and go back to LA. Where the Lakers haven't lost. I saw something this morning. The Lakers haven't lost since like March 20 something at home. Yeah. Wow. So this is actually a critical game for them. So I could see him playing big minutes, obviously. Mike, you liking Murray?
Yeah, I mean, just the narrative thing. We already talked about how you would think they're a little tired. I mean, I can't remember who said it, but they referenced, I think it was only after game 1 about how tired they were after covering Steph Curry, so you would think, again, playing into that narrative and everything you just said, Murray should be able to attack pretty easily.
Yeah, definitely. I also liked Murray's, I see a pretty good hit rate on his RA, but it's a bit high. It was 10.5 RA. He has done this 8 of 11 times in the playoffs. So I also went the same route as Tom was mentioning about the parlay for LeBron, the 8 rebounds, 5 assists. I like doing the same thing for Murray, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. I got that at minus 121. In the playoffs, he's cleared the 4 rebounds, 10 of 11 games, and the 5 assists, 10 of 11 games. And against LA this year, he's cleared 4 rebounds in 4 of 4 games and 5 assists in 3 of 4 games. So I think that's also another angle on Murray. If you don't want to play his points, you could take some altered down parlay of his rebounds and assists.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a big game.
Yeah. All right. Well, who else do you have?
So getting back to, I talked about MPJ at the jump there. I like a few different ways. I think you can look at his threes over 2.5 threes is plus money plus 108 right now. He's done it in 11 of 14 at home with 30 minutes. He's done in 8 of 9 at home with 31 minutes. So he's right around there. The times he's been lower, Denver's had, there's a few blowouts. So in this postseason, so I think that's why his minutes you'll see some less. I don't see that happening here. I also like his points, 14.5 points. He's done it in 13 of 17 at home with 30 minutes, 9 of 11 at home with 31 minutes. It's a big difference between 30 and 31 for MPJ here. And then also his points and rebounds. His rebounding was off the charts in that Phoenix series. So again, same thing, 12 of 17 at home with 30 minutes, 9 of 11 at home with 31. I see him having a nice game here, and I think he plays a lot of minutes in this series.
All right, that's good. Mike, any thoughts on MPJ?
Yeah, I like the rebounds definitely too. I was looking at that juices on the under though on his rebounds pretty heavily, minus 155. But
Right.
At the same time, you think a lot of shots are going up from LeBron, and a lot of shots are going up from Anthony Davis. So a lot of clear space for Michael MPJ to get to the hoop. His threes, I like. What do you guys think about how LA covered the three versus the Warriors? Do you think it was more of a game plan thing, or you think I mean,
well, I think it's a different situation here because Jokic is going to draw so much attention, into the post that Draymond's not doing that for them. So I think it's a different game plan than they had against the Warriors.
Yeah.
What do you say,
Yeah.
Dave?
Yeah, that's a really good take. I think the Warriors had a ton of 3-point attempts, but they were all off the pass from the perimeter, right? They weren't going down to the post and then coming back out, which is obviously going to be a higher success rate, than kind of the way they shoot them. Plus, the Warriors, just the shot quality is just horrendous, right? Curry shoots from 35 feet out half of the shot. So, but yeah, no, I think the Nuggets will find more success than the Warriors did from three. So, all right, cool. Anybody else?
I got one other. Aaron Gordon rebounds. So rolling cup bigs have a nice rebound matchup here, averaging 7.6 against the Lakers since the trade deadline. So his line right now is 6.5, but it's plus money. You can alt this down to 5.5, and it's minus 145. Not bad. He's at over 5.5. He's done in 9 of 10 playoff games, 3 of 4 against the Lakers. He's going to play a lot of minutes. I think he's going to be on. They're going to have him on AD a lot in this series. So I see him playing a lot of minutes and 6 rebounds. Give it to me at home. I love it.
All right, we might have to put that with Mike's pick for the PA and just go with the par.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool, very good. Any other picks, Mike, you have, or you got everything?
No, those were my 3. I'm going to combine those with some of these ones we talked about. I probably put a little too much money into this game tomorrow already.
That's the problem when the prop lines come out like 2 days in advance. You can certainly you could certainly, time could be an enemy. But yeah, let's find our best. We'll put a couple out on Twitter. I'm going to wrap up by forcing you both to choose who's going to win this series, and I want to know the exact series line. Who's taking it, and how many games are they winning by? Tom, go first.
So I find it very interesting that FanDuel is not even taking action on Nuggets 4-0 or Nuggets 3-0. So that tells me something for sure. I think Denver wins this, and I'm gonna say 4-1.
4-1. Okay. Mike, what do you like?
Yeah, I mean, I like the 4-1 call a lot. I mean, you figure I don't think there's any chance the Lakers win the first game. Like I said, I think they're tired. They're going into Denver. With you, how you said going back to March, Lakers haven't lost a game at home. You think they go back to LA and at least win one there, right? So it's at that point maybe it's 3-1 going back to Denver, and kind of hard to see it not finish out there. So
Yeah.
4-1. I mean, if it doesn't, does it go to a game 7? If they still did they go back to LA and somehow get to a game 7? That I just don't see it happening. I think they tire out after a while, and again, I think Jokic, while his defense isn't great, I think he can bully. I think him and Aaron Gordon can bully Anthony Davis a little bit. I think they're tired. I like the 4-1 call.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with Denver as well, but I'm gonna go with a 4-2 just to hopefully prove you guys wrong. But nobody's on the Lakers, so we're all riding Denver here.
Jokic has the magic this postseason, I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
Think so? All right. We'll
So
see.
right now the updated odds to win the NBA championship: Celtics plus 110, Nuggets are plus 240, Lakers are plus 300, and then the Heat are plus 1200.
Yeah, people are just dogging the Heat, but the Heat just keep doing it. So we'll see.
Their run will come to an end. Probably. Yeah.
One more injury and they won't be able to field the roster. So
yeah.
Let's see. All right, guys. Well, this was fun. Obviously we got plenty of basketball ahead of us, so we'll do it again. But we'll get our best picks out on Twitter. And Mike, thanks again for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yep. All right. Bye.